Hi, I'm Sharon Jameson from The Strength of My Soul, and I am so excited to be here with one of our co-authors, Nijole Beth. You probably have heard that The Strength of My Soul is a collection of stories from 27 amazing women. Women who have so generously and courageously share aspects of their life with really one goal in mind, and that is to empower women, to elevate women, to help women understand their own value and to reclaim their power. So I'm so excited because The Strength of My Soul, we also won an award, the Indie Literary Awards. So I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the opportunity and so grateful to be here with one of our co-authors. And that is the Nijole Beth. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, Nijole Beth.
Well,
Yes.
I just love it. Just sounds just as classy as you are. So first, I want
Thank
to
you.
say thank you so much for so courageously sharing your story. I know initially I had to push you a little bit, and I'm so grateful you did. So tell me,
Yeah.
what made you know that it was time to share your story? What made you? What was the impetus behind getting your article and your story written in the Strength of My Soul?
Um, I wanted people to realize that a person in my position, like I'm just being released from prison, and I haven't had a lot of opportunity, you know, and a lot of the times I see on social media or even on the media itself, on the TV, a lot of excuse me, recidivism
Mhm.
that a lot of people go through, whereas this it's like the system is designed to bring you back. Once you get in, you can't ever go back. It's like the mob, you get in, you can't get out. And so I wanted people to know that no, not because I've been incarcerated, that doesn't mean that I have a high chance of going back. It means I'm trying to do something, not go back. I'm trying to better myself to get out of that pit.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't want people to say, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's all she is. She's an ex-convict. I know that. That was the past.
Yes.
My future is I'm Nijole Beth, and I'm moving forward, and this is who I am.
Mhm.
And so I want people to know that it's kind of it's the cycle that I want to try to break. I know I'm not going to do it by myself, but one small step helps.
I have to say that when I had the honor, and it was definitely an honor to meet you and heard your story, I was so inspired. I think many times people have this impression of what somebody looks like. But honestly, it could have been all of us. We just didn't get caught. Just let me tell you, I could have been in prison 15, 20 different times. I just didn't get caught.
Right, right.
So I really appreciate your courage to share your story. I want you to take us through what it was like. You hear the judge say that you have to serve time. When you go into that prison system, what went through your mind when you first went behind those doors?
Well, when the judge said it, I was like everybody else, like what you see on TV, and they're gonna lock me up with these women, they're gonna beat me up, and I'm just like, it's shock.
Mhm.
You can't really say much because you're still processing that you got sentenced, and I'm at that point. I've never been to jail even,
Mhm.
and here I am. I'm sitting in jail with people who I would, and I'm not being classist, but I would not, in a general sense, be in close proximity with them.
Mhm.
I didn't live their life, so I didn't know them, and I did have a closed mind. I was, this is what I knew. So, when the judge said prison, and I'm just like, it took me a minute because I'm not, listen, I don't belong here.
Right.
But of course, the days come and you're like, you have to prepare yourself. Like, am I going to even survive this place? Like, what kind of people are there? And these are people that you see on the news that murdered people, or, rob people or were part of a gang. And so, initially, yeah, I was scared. I was really scared. And it's crazy because when I got there, everybody's looking crazy at me and I'm looking crazy at them. And it's just like, hi, welcome, you know.
It's
I stabbed my husband 41 times, but welcome, hey,
it's so interesting that I think that we forget that those people are just people like we are. We judge
exactly,
them, they judge, you.
exactly.
I love when you said in the book, you said, and I have to say, you said you have to remember that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. So I think so many times we think that we're different, but
Right.
really it's just choices. So after you had a chance to meet some of the other women, what did you learn about them that shows you that you have more in common than you
Oh my
had,
gosh.
that you did not have in common?
I learned surprisingly strength
Mm.
because these are women who I don't have children, but these are women who had children and for the betterment of their children's lives, they're there. Whether it be via it could be by a spouse, an abusive spouse. It could have been because they wanted to be with a spouse, or it could have been they wanted their children to have a better life than they did. And yeah, like I said, I was a little bit classist at first, but you have to realize that prostitute was probably doing it because she has 3 kids at home, that she has to feed on her own. I understand that now. Back then, of course, I didn't, but I understand that now, and I understand that some people, some of the drug addicts that I was around, they didn't even want to be drug addicts. It's just people who are they don't have a direction of where to go. They don't have people motivating them to not smoke the crack. They don't have people to motivate them not shoot up, and if they don't have people to motivate them to say, let's not go back to that street. Let's go somewhere else. And I saw people there that came in and out because of the fact that the prison life was a lot better than what they had at home.
You hear that. I hear that a lot, that sometimes people come back to prison because that's a place where they feel accepted and loved. And also I hear that sometimes people come out of prison and society treats them so badly that society won't allow people to get a new start, a new beginning, that many times, even though you want to change, there's so many barriers to you getting a job, keeping a job, renting
Right.
apartment, for example, that sometimes it's just difficult. And I'm so grateful that people are trying to help me understand that, because I didn't understand, like, why would somebody go back? And sometimes you don't even have a choice.
Right.
There's no choice.
Exactly. I was a part of my condition for being incarcerated was the fact that I have probation. And at the time, I didn't understand the probation. I just figured, okay, well, I know at this point in life, since I'm here already in front of the judge, I'm not going to do any drugs. I'm not going to go out the way to do anything bad per se. Um, and so, yeah, I took the probation, not knowing that the conditions were, well, I can't really go too many places without checking in. And I do have to pay a stipulation every month. Well, in order for me to pay that, I need a job. In order for me to get a job, I need somebody to not look me up and say, oh, well, you have a record, and I have been in positions where I have the job and I've been there for over 2, 3 weeks. And then the VP of human resources will come in and say, I thought we cleared your background. However, this what is this? And I said, well, I explained all that in my interview, and she looked at me and she was like, I applaud you for your honesty, so we have to terminate you.
Oh,
So it's just that kind of, and I can't I can't get angry. I can't say, well, I deserve this position. I I have to bow out gracefully and say, I understand and thank you. And so, that's it kind of, that's the cycle that I have to go through. And like I said recently, um, being in prison, it gives you an opportunity for a lot of food service positions,
Mhm.
um, landscaping, or construction work. I don't have that. That was not, that's not my thing. I am not a great cook. I can't cook for 1,500 people at a drop of a dime. I know how to season. I know how to cook for my family, but I can't work in a fast food restaurant.
Wow.
I love to eat too much. I'm sorry. I can't work in a fast food restaurant. I can't. And as far as construction, I've had experience with
Yeah.
construction, and it did not work out for me.
So how do you
It
get
was like,
yourself going? So you're in this situation, and the opportunities that are available are opportunities that you either don't have experience in or don't make your heart sing. What gives you the strength to keep trying? It seems like so many times all the odds are stacked against you.
mhm.
And one of the ways that you inspire me is that I keep seeing you going, 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 going. So what inspires you? What gives you the motivation to keep on keep it on despite all of the obstacles that you face constantly?
I will be honest with you. I don't know where I get it from, and I'm gonna say honestly, I do a lot of praying. Um, I know sometimes I cuss like a sailor, but I do a lot of praying, and I do a lot of crying.
Hmm.
My closet full of my tears, like because I at times when I get so defeated, and I do get defeated, I have to be like, why me? What about and I think sometimes sometimes not all the time, but I do think back to when I was in prison, and I used to wait until the lights go out before I actually start crying, thinking to myself that my worst day in the free world is better than my best day in prison.
Wow.
And because at least when I'm free, I have the opportunity to make it better. And so sometimes I do think about that, and I'll be like, okay, let me try this other way. One way doesn't work. Okay, let me find another way.
Mhm.
Let me do something else. If that job didn't work out, okay, fine. Let me try to go to a temp agency, see,
Mhm.
something,
Mhm.
or let me try to ask or try to network with people and see, ask around, can I, what do you think I should, can you help me?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and that's what that keeps me moving forward. But it also creates a little pocket of, if the next disappointment happens, this is what I'm going to do.
Got it. So you just said that you always have to be in a posture of being solution oriented. That's what
Right.
it sounds like. You're always having a contingency plan. You're always
Mhm.
are developing some sense of your next step. How did you develop that? It's so interesting, even with my clients, even with my own experiences. Sometimes when I hit roadblocks, I sometimes I'm not as creative to find ways to overcome it. But it's your reality. What advice can you give to people who find themselves in tight situations, but you always have a way, some way, even if it's difficult, to dig yourself out of that abyss to keep moving forward? What could you say? Because I see you doing it, and I'm in awe of your tenacity.
I don't think I'll have a cookie cutter advice for anyone. But I will say, look at worst, worst day. Compare that to what you're going through right now, and you know, just take that one thing, and be like, okay, I got through that. You know,
Mhm.
it might not be as bad as that, or it might be as bad as that, but find another way. You know, there's always gonna be 10,000 doors shut, but there's gonna be one door, that one little crack. It might not be wide open. It might be just enough to push a toe through, but find it. As
Wow,
a matter
I
of
love
fact, I
that.
always think my worst day out here, my absolute worst day out here, is always better than my best day in prison. Because
Wow.
a lot of times when I have the opportunity to do something that will potentially put me back uh in the penal system,
Hmm.
you know, every day there's always a chance where, man, if I could just do that right quick and get it done and over, but there's always that chance.
Yeah, I always tell people I learned when I was a kid, quick money is not the best money.
Exactly.
And so many times it's that challenge. Well, one of the things I just have to read something. I have so many things about your chapter that I find power in. And one of the things I really love that you talk about is that nobody gets to label you.
Right.
In your chapter, you said, I have learned that accepting yourself and not letting society's labels, criminal, convict, evil, etc., define you can make all the difference in your life. And honestly, it's very difficult at first to not take some of the labels to heart. But I have learned, and I want you to know that you are so much more than the disparaging labels society places on you. It took me quite a while to understand and accept that, but now I know, and I want you to know that too. Why was it so important for you to let other people know that labels don't define you and that you don't have to succumb to societal labels? Why was that important for you to say in your chapter?
Okay, because a lot of women that I've dealt with, a lot of women that I've interacted with, and men too, they they have a belief that whatever someone has told them in life or what has been ingratiated in their minds, that that's who or what they are,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's something negative.
Mm-hmm.
It's always something negative. I've seen a broken woman before, and she was so broken that when she's had someone with her, who's doing their best to mend her, to show her, she goes right back she reverts to being broken. I've seen a man, I've spoken to a man who has not a negative complex about himself, but he was so he's in that ugly duckling stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's what he was told growing up. He doesn't think that he's the finest bodybuilder in the gym, because that's what he is. But he's like, okay, all right, you know, it's just that whole mentality that they have, and I've I've always wondered, you know, who would do that to a person. And
Yeah.
so for me, I understand that for me, yes, I am a convict. Yes, I've done that. That's all that they can say. I know that, but I also know that just because you think I'm a convict, don't mean that I am a convict.
I heard that. I tell people just because you call me something does not mean I have to answer.
Answer to
And
it,
who cares what you define me as? I think
as
that
long as
is
I
so
define
powerful.
myself.
Yes, and I love that in your book, and I love that how you live that way. I love that you live in a way that you unapologetic about who you are. So what? Did it, and now
Right.
I'm going to make my life better. Something that you said that was so important is that people ended up in the penal system many times from a place of brokenness, broken
Right.
homes, broken spirits, broken finances. Is that
Right.
sense of brokenness that got them there? When you saw that and you saw the brokenness and you also realized your own brokenness,
Mhm.
what was one of the first things that you felt needed to happen for you to start rebuilding your life?
Oh, I needed to confront it.
Mm.
I definitely needed to confront it, and it wasn't something that happened overnight. When I say confront it, I meant I what I did. I was in a place where I constantly thought of every wrong move I've made up until that point, and I
Mhm.
still do it sometimes. A wrong point that I've made, and I realized from looking at trying to find an excuse for it, why I did it because of this or this. I try to see it from another perspective. I try to go outside myself, so to speak, and say, well, if I, okay, I know I did it because of that, but how did it look to somebody else? And so I had to
Mm.
confront myself first, and then I went outside myself and I apologized to people. I might that I know a few of them were like, "What?" Looking crazy, and me like, "Are you the same person?" I'm gonna go ahead
I
and
think it's so important you said about confrontation because
right,
you're right. I think the person that we will confront at the least is ourselves.
exactly
I like what Socrates said that an unexamined life is not worth living,
living
and so that confrontation piece is let me look at myself. Let me look how
right,
I am complicit in my own demise. And
right.
what did you see when you had to confront yourself? What did you see when you looked in the mirror that you had to say, "Look, Nijole Beth, we got to check this out." What was that? What did you see?
Right. I saw a
Really?
monster. I saw someone. Yes, I saw someone who I did not. I was a person who did not care. I didn't care who I hurt. I didn't care who
Mm.
felt beneath me. I just know that who are you again? And you are
Ah,
what to me? You're nothing. And that's how I will treat you. Because in my head at that time, I wasn't thinking about becoming a prison. I wasn't thinking about um, anybody else. I knew that I was going to be better than what anybody has ever said to me. I'm going to go to college, and if I have to strip 1,000 years to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get what I can get out of this society
mhm,
for me, not for you, not for family, not
mhm.
no, for me. What's my slice of the pie? That's what I want. I want my slice, and I want I want the whole pie.
You wanted everything at all
So
costs, right? All
I wanted
costs.
everything. And exactly. At all costs, I didn't care who I hurt, who I had to step on, who I had to move out of the way. I don't care. I didn't care. And so, being in a place where I had nothing but
Mm.
time to think, I had to think about like, I wasn't really nice. I wasn't really, and is the reason why I'm not a nice person because I hurt
Mm.
myself?
Wait a minute, say that. That's tweetable.
Because there was a
Let's
time,
stop right there. That was some
huh?
good stuff. You said that you had to realize that maybe you were not a nice person because you didn't like yourself. And I think that's where a lot of the self destruction starts. But why didn't you like yourself? I look at
Oh yeah,
you. I think you're amazing. I think you're beautiful. You are an amazing writer. If one of the things I pray is that I get to a point where the strength of my soul, this movement gets so big because I would love to work side by side with you. You are talented, and that's why I read your article. I started reading. I'm like, she has to be in this book. So I look at you. I see this amazing, beautiful, creative, talented woman. I love the voice that you write with. So when I look at you, I just see so many positive things. What did you see that made you feel like you didn't like yourself?
hey, I saw that I was a
Mm.
drug addict. I the very people that I disdained, which were drug addicts. I was one of them. Not in a sense where I physically, shot up drugs, but
With
my
what?
drug was money. My drug was power.
Yes, God.
Money,
Oh, yes.
money. My drug was money, and
Mhm.
my drug was power. And I was with a man
Mhm.
who had both, and I realized that I didn't want him, and I didn't care if he had to live or die. That wasn't my
Wow.
problem. That wasn't my concern. Yeah. I just wanted I wanted my drug. And so when I noticed that came to a place, it had gotten to a place where in the pursuit of that, I was
Mm.
broken because I figured the abuse came along with it. Oh, it's just something. It's just for now, because I'm gonna get. I know what I'm
There
gonna
was a
get.
trade-off.
You know,
You're saying that you can abuse me because I'm gonna get money and power. So it was a trade-off.
in the end, because it's
Yeah,
what
it's
I
like you
want,
needed it.
and so I exactly because I wanted to show everybody around me that little girl that was homeless. Guess what? you know, here I am in North Miami. I'm living in Star Island. I loving it. It's
Right.
me. And at the end, I thought, well, this is the city commissioner's son. I could have gotten life for that, And I realized in prison that I could have gotten a lot longer time. And I was like I said, I was an ugly person. I not like the person who I was, and I started praying about that. I started praying that I never become that person again. I don't want to ever put myself in a situation where I feel like I need to chase that. So I'm gonna start, and I for like maybe the last 5 years of my incarceration, I decided I wanted to just do something different in life. And I always said, if I have to start from the bottom, I'm gonna do that. And I know it's gonna be hard. I didn't think it was gonna be this hard, but I knew it was gonna be hard, to live a different life than what
Yeah.
I left.
I,
I want to be in a different place, a different space from what I
right.
was
I
at.
think that's so important. I think
So
one of the things I love what you said, I think many times people don't understand there's a difference between a transfer and transformation. Because I think many times a
right,
transformation, you take your bad behaviors and your bad beliefs from place to place, from location to location. And transformation is a renewing of your mind when you really dismantle all of those negative beliefs and understand that you need to rebuild your life and reconstruct your life and rebuild your relationships. When you started rebuilding your life, what did you find out about yourself that you liked yourself? I know you said you had to confront yourself. There were so many things that you did not like. But when you looked in the mirror, what did you see that you really liked about yourself? And how did knowing that part of you that you liked, how did that encourage you to keep making the changes you needed to transform your life?
okay, this is gonna sound so superficial. Um, but I actually like
I like your smile
smiling.
too.
I
It's
was
so loving. It's so inviting. It's calming. I agree with you. I like your smile too, Mama.
red. Thank you, thank you. No, I honestly I read something that I think it says if you smile more, if you smile, the universe
Yes.
smiles back. Um, I did practice smiling a lot, and people started saying, "Oh, you have a nice smile," and I was like, "Oh, thank you," and then I started telling people, "You have a nice smile," so I smile often. See how many people I can get with that, it's mean and nasty and grumpy, because I'll be honest with you. Um, when I was incarcerated, my a lot of people knew that if you speak to me before 9 o'clock, honey, you're liable to get
Oh no.
profiled. Oh yeah, yeah, because I'm not a morning person, so I wouldn't say anything. I'll get up, go about my business. So let's not have a conversation in the morning about nothing. Okay, if you need something, yes, I'll give it to you. But let's not have a conversation. Let's not get too deep in the morning and keep it moving. So a lot of when I started waking up and being fresh and vibrant, and I'll hey, how you doing? It's like, hey, you all right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, how's your day
Wow.
so far? He's like, oh, they started communicating to that positive person. You know, thinking at first like, where's the cameras? But it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing this, and I did. And like I said, it shocked a lot of people at first, but then everybody got used to it, and then I realized that me being just smiling at somebody, and they do smile back, and it invites them, to have a conversation. And so I would have a genuine conversation with somebody, and by a genuine conversation, I mean, I would get to know about their lives and their kids and where they're from. And I would, definitely say, oh, okay, well, what brought you here? How, what? And so I learned
I
from
think
them.
that's so. important to learn people's stories. And I love when you said that just by changing yourself, you made people welcome. You became more welcoming. Because I think positivity is
Right.
contagious. I think anything is contagious. I think that you came
It
in and
is.
you
It
change your
is.
continence and you start sharing joy. And I'm sure just by having that new energy, that it really revitalized and rejuvenated the whole ethos, the whole atmosphere around where you were incarcerated. Absolutely.
Right.
So I can tell that one of the things I know about you when I met you is that you're such a leader. So in oh yes, I think you're such a leader. I see you so differently. I cannot wait until the world has a
Oh,
chance to experience you like I have experienced you, because people will leave feeling yes, motivated and inspired. Nobody could have gone through what you have gone through with such tenacity, with such clarity, with self responsibility, because you have always accepted responsibility.
right.
That's a leader. Those are leadership
Oh yeah.
qualities. And I think many times the hardest person to lead is yourself, and you are leading yourself. So when people saw this change, and your family saw this change, what did those changes start to create in your life? Because I feel like everything is a ripple effect. So how did those changes start changing the trajectory of your life?
Okay. So like I said, I got to know people, inmates as well as officers, and as well as the people in administration of the prison. Um, I got to know them, and they got to know me on a personal level. Almost to where it was funny because my one of the captains there, he would call my mom, just to check
Oh,
on her to make sure
yeah.
she was right, and to let her know that I was doing good. Because usually when they called her, it was okay. Don't come and see Givens this weekend because she's in confinement, and it just got used. It just she just expected a call like, okay, so I won't see her for another 30 days. So and it was heartbroken. It was heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to hear, but at the time, it was just more like, you get over it. you know. So when I was talking to my mom one day, I was incarcerated. I was talking to her, and she said, you know, God called me, and he just wanted to make sure that I was
Wow.
okay. He said that you were doing so well, and he was
Oh,
proud of you. And I was like, this is a recorded line. Are you what? Are you sure? And she was like, yeah. She said, I was surprised. And then she said, another sergeant, I forgot her name. She my mom. She actually took my mom to Walgreens one time because my mom didn't have on the correct shirt to come in. At the time you couldn't have like loud Christmas stuff going on, and instead of turning my mom away, she actually went to the Walgreens with my mom.
wow.
And right, yeah, it's just it was just like, really, Sergeant Scott, that's her name. And I was like, really, she did that? And she was like, I was surprised, because she says I was crying because I didn't think that a Christmas tree on my shirt was gonna be, but because it had a little
Oh,
trick
you
on the
can
top,
have it.
you couldn't
But
come
that
in.
just goes to show you that when
So
because you were showing up differently, people really wanted to support you.
right, and they were
Yeah.
responding differently. Yes, they were responding differently. I had Officer Paula, and I'm naming all these officers because these were the officers that actually uh, made an
Hmm.
impact, a positive impact. They actually, not that they commended me, but they were just like, you know what? They gave me positive
Hmm.
encouragement. To to continue being a positive
I think
positive
that's so
person.
important to say, because we many times you never hear people talk about how some of the officers were really supportive and encouraging and motivating. So it's so good that you name those people, and I hope they hear their names
Right.
to let them know that they made a difference.
I hope they
You
do
know?
too. And I'm very grateful, and I'm especially grateful for one of them. His name was Officer Nelson back then. Um, Now we just call him Ishmael, and we call him over, and we call him for dinner, and we call him later on. Exactly, because when the prison had shut down in Broward, he actually became a comedian.
Wow.
And yeah, he, and we're friends, and I saw him, or he saw me, at the hair show, and he was like, "What's going on with your mom?" And da 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 da. And I was like, "Oh man, we caught up." And he came over, and him and my mom were like
Wow.
this. And then he would always look out for her. Yeah, and I appreciate stuff like that, because I'm like, you know what? I'm so proud of you right now. He was like, I'm proud of you. Like, you're out here, you're handling your business. You could have easily went back, after not knowing a lot of the stuff. You could have easily went back and been like, nah, it's not for me. He said, but I'm really proud that you're out here and you're trying to build something. And I'm like, thank you. That
And
made
you
me
should
feel good.
feel good. You
Really,
should feel good.
it
Well, I
did,
think he did it, but you
and
did it. It was always inside of you. So give us an idea. What was the biggest adjustment? You've been in prison for 15 years. You come out. What were the big
technology.
adjustments that people don't even would not even think were hard for you to get to speed on? Really, say more.
It, it, yeah, because going okay, my major, when I this kind of my age, but it was computer
Ah,
science, and I did a computer science vocational course in
oh wow.
prison. Yeah, well, the thing is, I didn't realize until I was out of prison that the stuff that I was learning in prison is outdated. They're on Windows 7. They're on Windows 7, and I'm out here, they're on it was it Windows 10, Windows 8, XP, and everybody's like, and they got smartphones. Nobody has the little flip phone
Oh
no more,
wow.
and I'm like, wait, hold on. I need to do what now? So I'm holding it, but why does it keep popping on? Why, I'm trying to get used to the iPhone 4, and using a Bluetooth. What now?
Wow.
Uh,
You never really
so
think about those
you know,
things. So you came out, it was culture shock in a lot of ways.
it was. It was really. And one of the things, I have to send you this in the manuscript.
Ah,
Driving. Something you don't think about. I had to think about it. I had to think how to use my foot. Wait, it says, okay, okay, so this is what I have to do. And it took some readjustment.
mhm.
I'm gonna say, um, going to a Walmart was the scariest thing.
Really? Why?
It was. I got out. I got out on Mother's Day, and Mother's Day, and my mom and one of my friends were there to pick me up, and she was like, we can get you some high teas, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited to go, because I'm getting out of prison. I'm gonna go to Wally World. I get to Walmart and I get so stuck because there's a aisle, and and this is like about maybe 2 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
and there's still people at this Walmart. There's still a lot of people at the Walmart, and like there's rows, and she's saying, well, what do you want? What kind of toothpaste do you like? I don't know.
Wow.
The Fresh Start that they give us in prison.
Wow.
You know, I have variety. I have a
You had to make
variety.
choices, and that had to be overwhelming.
Colgate. I was like, what? Wait, huh? What? The tooth? And I just get a toothpaste. I just need a toothpaste. It was so overwhelming
Mhm.
for me, and I'm gonna say it became overwhelming, and I'm gonna say that it was a
Mhm.
shock because there's so much. And I know this is Walmart, but first of all, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. Second of all, I had just got out of prison
Mhm.
2 hours ago. Third of all, why are there people, this many people, in a
Wow.
Walmart? And um, I was thinking in my head that maybe stores close at maybe like 10 o'clock at night, and it is. It's a regular thing for Walmart to be open 24 hours a day.
It's just amazing. You just don't think about all those types of things. So when you think about where you are now, you're chapter 25. The chapter of your book was My Unfinished Chapter. What do you hope to finish in your life?
Wow, what do I
Yeah,
hope
what
to
do you hope to
finish?
finish? And what do you think, what do you want the world to know? And what do you think the world needs to know, so that we can not only reform the prison system, but also to help reform people so when they come out, they can reclaim their place in society. So what do you think the world needs to know? I know
Wow.
that's a loaded question.
That is loaded. Because I want to finish. I want to. I don't want to finish my life. I just want to finish, you know, the journey that I'm currently
Yes, yay
doing.
for you. Congratulations on
I want to
that.
finish that. Thank you. Thank you. I want the world to not have that judgmental. I understand that there are bad people in the world. But there are mostly good people in the world as well. And I understand. Yes, we did commit crime. Everybody's commit crime. They just don't
Yes,
get caught. You're so right on that. They don't get caught. And the simple things that you don't realize is illegal, opening somebody's mail, you can get federal time for that. You know, it, it, I don't want people to say, oh, okay, so you've been to prison and you're applying for a job, a corporate job. Like, what makes you think you deserve that? I don't want people to have that stigma. Just because I was incarcerated does not mean that I can't be um, a functioning member of society.
I think that's so important.
I don't want you to think I don't want you to think I can only be a waitress for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
I think I'm worth more than 2.15 an hour. I'm sorry. It took me it took me a minute to realize that even though I'm at a $10 an hour mental state right now, I want to be in a $600 an hour state. I want to be in that state of mind. I might be in a motel right now, but my aspirations is to be a 5-star
Right.
hotel. You know, working for that. I'm working to not be what you think I am. Yes, I understand what is on paper. I understand what's in the news. I understand what's going to happen when you do a Google search on me. I understand that. However, the person that I was, that's what you're seeing. I am the person in front of
I
you
think that's
right now. This is who I am
so
right now.
important because, oh, you just said a mouthful. If I was at church, I run around the church right now because I think so many times we forget that our past doesn't mean that it's going to dictate our future, and our past doesn't mean we have to forfeit our future. And I think so many times people get stuck in their past, or people want to hold us hostage to our past. Believe me, I got a past too, and it was a place where people wanted to hold me to it, and I told them, you have a choice. Either you're going to see me now, or are you going to get out of my life? Because you're not going to continue to be an albatross around my neck. So what, I did it, done it, been there, got the t-shirt, got the hat,
Right.
but I am not going to be held hostage to something that no longer serves me. I did what I did because I didn't know any better, but now I know better, and so I'm not going to keep be beholden to that person, to that place, to that experience.
Right. You're not gonna
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I admire about you. I want to read something a little bit as we come to the close that just was so important. I want you to read something. You said self-acceptance is a process, and it does take some time. You will be better off once you learn that you cannot change everything about yourself, and you can't change your past, and that's okay. I am not perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. Fortunately, God does not expect that. Then you said, thankfully, I'm successfully rebuilding my life. I have friends who love me and believe in me, but most importantly, I love and believe in myself. So I want to know, why do you love yourself, and why do you know that the best is yet to come for you?
I'm always expecting the best. I'm expecting the best on any moment now because like I said, I've had so many disappointments. To love myself is to show others how to love me.
Mm.
I can't
You have to say that
tell
again. To love yourself. That's tweetable. To love yourself. I'm telling you. These sound bites you're giving are powerful. You say you have to love yourself because then you can show people how to love you.
How to love.
Now that's powerful. If I was at church, I'll take another lap because I think that's so powerful. Why is that so important? I think what you said is key. Why do people need to know that loving themselves is the foundation it's so fundamental, and without loving yourself, people can't really love you fully. Tell people why that is so important.
Okay, well, if you don't know what is it that you like about yourself, then you can't expect the next person to know what to like about you or know how to treat
Yes.
you. And it's hard because you want to accept the person. You don't want to accept the treatment. You want to accept the person, but the treatment comes with the person. So if they're not treating you the way you want, you as the person to love you, in order for you to love yourself, you have to decide, okay, I still want them to treat me right, or put them in a capacity where they'll just basically be a distant friend. I could love you with a 10 foot pole, honey. You can stay over there, and I'll stay over here because I think my self care is a lot more important than what you're trying to get me. And I'm not gonna expect that from you because I have to
You know,
treat myself.
that's tweetable right there. That's tweetable right there. I think it's so important about self-love and self-care. I think when we realize that it's a privilege to be in our lives. I tell some people like, sweetie, I'm a queen, not a quack. And so since I'm a queen, you have to step to me as royalty because likewise I'm stepping to you because I recognize that you are royalty too. And that's what I recognize about you.
Right.
You are
Exactly.
royalty. So I just want to
And
say
more importantly, if I'm treating you like royalty, I expect you to treat me like
absolutely.
royalty. And if you're not treating me like royalty, like I said, I can love you 10 feet away. You're just not gonna be this close to me to where you think that I'm going to accept any treatment that you give
Because
me.
it's a privilege.
I don't love myself.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege to
Exactly.
be
It's
in
a
your
privilege.
space, and that's how I
Yes.
feel about you. That's why I felt so. It was so important to get to know you, but so important for us to work together on this project because it was a privilege. I am so in awe. I'm so
Thank you.
inspired, and I can't wait because our
I'm
journey is
inspired.
just beginning. We have so much more to do. So I'd like to end
Yes.
every conversation with the strength of my soul, which people can get. The strength of my soul, chapter 25 is your chapter. How can people get in
Yes.
contact with you? People, since I posted your follow-up article last week, people have been emailing me. How can I get in contact with her? How's she doing? How's she doing?
Really?
How can people get
Oh,
in
what is
contact with
it?
you? People want to touch base with you. People want to know you. Some people just want to support your transformation and your re-entry. If a person wants to know you, how can people connect with you?
I need to get more connected. I am so out of the loop. Well, you can hit me. Oh,
That's okay. Hey, somebody can hit
yeah.
you up. That is fine.
I'm on Facebook at Nijole Beth. Instagram,
We
nijole.beth.author. My email is nijolebeth@yahoo.com. And my website is nijolebeth.wix.com/nijolebeth.
yes.
So they can look it up. They can find me, email me, Instagram me, follow me. I'll follow back. And it's so weird because I still have to get connected with the social media, and that's my fault because I'm so engrossed in real world, so to speak. I didn't have a lot of time to go back and scroll, and then okay, I really didn't get connected with that, but I definitely will do
Yes, because
that.
people want to know you. People want to touch you. I think so many times
Oh
people
yes,
read a story and your picture is not on the cover. We did that for a reason, right? So I wanted
right.
to say acknowledge that it took the courage that it took to not. I'm not going to show my face. This is who I am. I just want to acknowledge that. But people
Right.
want to know who you are. So please stay connected, and people can also contact you on the strengthenmysoul.com. They can contact me and I will put them in contact with you because I think that
Thank you.
other people need to hear from you. And maybe you and I need to go on the road and go to prison ministries or go to other types of organizations, because I think that your story is so critical for people to understand that despite their worst day, as you said, in prison,
Right.
the best day
Beats the best
in
day
freedom.
in prison. The worst day out here beats the best day
Yeah, and
in
I think
freedom.
that's so
It
important
does.
that people will say that people know, and that people internalize. So I like to end
Yeah.
every interview and time together with asking everybody, every author, what's the strength of your soul? When I think of the strength of my soul, the
Oh,
strength of my soul is tenacity. What's the strength of your soul and why?
oh, it's always going to be
Ah,
perseverance. Always. It's always perseverance. Because no matter what life throws at you, you have to get through it. You might not feel that you're strong enough to do it, but you're gonna get through it. You know, they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and oh my goodness, this is so true. This is so true, and I realized that, you know, for every knockdown that I've gotten, every time that I've gotten up and gotten through, it made it that much better.
yes,
You know, yes, I've gotten, you know, I don't have an employment right now, but guess what? I'm in school,
yes,
you know, and who would have thought, you know, might have taken me almost 22 decades to get there, but I'm in school and I'm doing something.
yes,
You know, I'm moving forward. I might, you know, maybe now and then have to ask for gas money, but that's
yes.
okay. I'm getting to
I
school.
just,
I'm getting something here
yes.
so I can build my
And
future
nobody can ever
doing
take that
this.
away from you. Nobody can ever take that away. I just want to say,
I have to be dead for that.
see, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your courage.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inspiring women who are different than you in every way, but still feel connected
Oh,
to you in so many ways. I honor you.
thank you.
I celebrate you. I cannot wait to our second part of our journey, because we are still on a journey together. I learned so much from you,
Yeah.
sis. And I just want to tell
Thank
you
you.
every day, every time I have a chance to speak with you, I am so
Yes.
inspired and so encouraged. And I feel more empowered just by your presence, because I know if she did it, I can do it. And so I just want to say for the best for both of us, the best is yet to come. And also to remind people
Yes.
that they can go to strengthenmysoul.com and get the book. You can get it from Nijole Beth's website. You can get the book at Barnes and Noble online, Amazon, wherever we are, whatever books are sold. Please ask for our book, learn about our stories, and then please connect with the authors. We all have different stories, but we are all so willing to help share our stories to help you and help people learn to be all that God has created them to be. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us today. We hope that the Strength of My Soul stories of sisterhood, triumph, and inspiration motivates you and inspires you as it has inspired us. And thanks again for being with us in today, and God bless you. Goodbye.